welcome to my YouTube channel. Myself, I am Lokita GS, studying in 3rd SEM in the Department of Artificial Intelligence. Today's subject which we are going to speak is operating system. The subject code of operating system is BCS303. The topic which I am going to cover is deadlocks in the operating system. Deadlocks, a process requests resource if the resource are not available at that time. The process enters a waiting state. Sometimes a waiting process is never again able to change state because the resource it has requested are held by other waiting processes. This situation is called as deadlocks. System model. Under the normal mode of operations, a process can utilize a resource in only the following sequence. Request. The process requests the resource. If the request can be granted immediately, then the requesting process must wait until it can acquire the resource. Use. The process can operate on the resource. Release. The process releases the resource. To illustrate a deadlocked state, consider a system with 3 CD-RW drives. Suppose each of 3 processes holds one of these CD-RW drives. If each process now requests another drive, the 3 processes will be in a deadlock state. Each is waiting for the event CD-RW is released, which can be caused only by one of the other waiting process. This example illustrates a deadlock invoking the same resource type. Necessary conditions. A deadlock situation can arise if the following 4 conditions hold simultaneously in the system. Mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no presumption, circular wait. Resource allocation graph. Deadlocks can be described in terms of the directed graph called system resource allocation graph. The graph consists of a set of verticals V and a set of edge E. The set of verticals V is paranized into 2 different type of nodes. P is equal to P1, P2 and continuous to the Pn. The set consisting of all the active processes in the system. R is equal to R1, R2 and so on to the Rm. The set consisting of all the resource types in the system. A directed edge from process 1 to resource type R1 is denoted by P1 belongs to PR1, which signifies that the process R P1 has requested an instant of the resource type Rj and is currently waiting for that resource. The directed edge from resource type R1 to process P1 is denoted by Rj is to P1. It signifies that an instant of resource type Rj has been allocated to the process R1. The directed edge P1 refers to Pj is called as requested edge. The directed edge Rj belongs to P1 is called as assignment edge. In the graph doesn't contain a cycle, then a deadlock may exist. If each resource type has exactly one instance, then a cycle implies that a deadlock has occurred. If the cycle involves only a set of resources types, each of which has a single instance, then a deadlock has acquired. Each process involved in the cycle is a deadlock. If each resource type has several instances, then a cycle does not necessarily imply that a deadlock has occurred. In this case, a cycle in the graph is a necessary but not a sufficient condition for the existence of deadlock. Methods for handling deadlocks. The deadlocks problem can be handled in one of three ways. Use a protocol to prevent or avoid deadlocks, ensuring that the system will never enter a deadlocked state. Allow the system to enter a deadlocked state, detect it, and recover. Ignore the problem altogether and pretend that deadlock never occur in the system. If the graph does contain a cycle, then a deadlock may exist. If each resource type has exactly one instance, then a cycle implies that a deadlock has occurred. If the cycle involves only a set of resources types, each of the which have only a single instance, then a deadlock has occurred. Each process involved in the cycle is a deadlock. If each resource type has several instances, then a cycle does not necessarily imply that deadlock has occurred in the case. A cycle in the graph is necessary but not a sufficient condition for the existence of the deadlock. Methods of handling deadlocks. The deadlock problem can be handled in one of three ways. Use a protocol to prevent or avoid deadlocks, ensuring that the system will never enter a deadlocked state. Allow the system to enter a deadlocked state, detect it, and recover. Ignore the problem altogether and pretend that the deadlocks never occur in the system. Thank you for watching my video. Please do like the video and share it. And thank you.